Hello everyone, this is Keith Jowers with the Jacksonville JC Films Production Club. Today we're bringing you an episode of the Clapboard Chat series talking about screenwriting, professional screenwriting. And I can tell you this, that my friend C Neil Davenport knows a little bit about screenwriting. And then we're going to talk about, well, a special masterclass that you might want to be involved in. Welcome to Clapboard Chat, Neil Davenport. I would like for you to just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in screenwriting and just kind of tell us, I know it's a passion, but I would like for you to share why you have that passion or why you feel like that's God's calling for you, sir.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. I have been professionally writing in the film industry for the last 5 years. I started out as an actor I was represented by 3 agents within 3 different acting agencies for a year. And during that time, I, got the chance to audition, meet casting directors, other directors, other actors. I lived in Atlanta at the time. And it truly gave me an education of how the industry works. I thought I wanted to be an actor professionally, but I just steadily found that my heart wasn't in it. Though I love the craft and still have a passion for it, I just, I'm not an actor. What I am is a writer. And when I decided to discontinue my pursuit of acting, I reached out to a trusted group of friends and mentors. It gave them this dilemma that I was going through, and they said, "Neil, you've been a writer since you were a kid. I've been as a kid, I would carry around a pen and notepad paper just everywhere I went because I would constantly be jotting down ideas. So, that was a form of a hard truth to swallow. It's like, you're not an actor, you're a writer. And then I decided to trust my network on that and pursue it. And lo and behold, I have been at it for the following 4 to 5 years. I've gotten more work as a writer than I have as an actor, and I'm happier because of it. Who would have thunk, right? So it's just, it's good for if you're starting out in this industry, if you want to be in this industry, no matter where you're at or how long you've been doing it, it's good to go in with some type of directional pursuit, but staying open to other things at the same time, so that you can truly find that niche of a craft you truly belong. Because it's like, once you say that you are this one thing and you're authentically good at that one thing, then you'll start to see your craft to grow and your career grow. So that's kind of how I became who I am and as a writer.
Well, and you've written, I guess, short stories or short films as well as features as well, right?
Yes. So I during my undergrad, I and a little after my undergrad, I wrote and produced a number of short films, which has won a few awards here and there in film festivals. And then when I got into writing, when I stepped into the sector of writing within the film industry, I started off writing a short web series, and then that led to work with a few other producers on a few features, and now I'm adapting a novel into a screenplay with a novelist out in Georgia, and I was a writer on Camp Hideout, the faith-based kids film, which it was produced through Call Fire Studios. So yeah, it's just it's a dabbling in a lot of different mediums, and it's very fluctuate. You have to fluctuate. You have to do all these different things in order to be able to pursue it. I hope that answered your question.
Oh, it did, because we all have a story, right?
Yeah.
And everything had to start somewhere. And
Mhm.
you saw the direction, because there's no good movies without a screenwriter, right? And you and I were talking earlier about how an idea can begin with just a simple thought. Any
Yes.
movie we watch, any television show we watch, anything that we binge watch, through the 5 seasons or whatever, all started with a thought.
Hmm.
And you and I discussed some things at Camp Hideout that kind of made me think about, we all have a story, and we could
Yes.
all think about, now they may not all be movies, they are feature movies, they might be a short film, or maybe they just wind up being a series. And there's several series out there now that you can watch on streaming. Obviously, television's come a long way since the 3 channels that I grew up with, but and you had so many shows, and you knew right when they were came on because you look at a guide. Well, now you can go on and see anything just about in the way of a film that's been made, or
Hmm.
even some behind the scenes of films being made. But everything started with a thought, didn't it, Neil?
Oh, everything. I mean, I would push that further. I mean, everything that exists that we're able to sense. I mean, whether we touch it or we see it or we somehow absorb it, it exists because someone had an idea. Someone did have a thought and said, let's pursue it. Let's see what happens. Um, yeah, it's and when you stumble upon something that is truly fantastic, then I believe that that idea was something that was genuine from the creator themselves. Um, it's like how you can determine what the difference between art and commercialism. You know, uh, on television, there are trailer commercials out there, and though they can be artful, they still inspire you to buy something. Whereas when you look at a piece of art, it doesn't inspire you to buy something. It just exists for you to have some type of emotion through through the human condition. So yeah, it's just everything. Everything has started with an idea and the bravery to pursue it.
So how many films have you actually been involved in writing? Or I know you got several different types of projects, but how many films have you been involved in?
Yes, from just a writing standpoint, or from acting, or both.
Yeah, well, let's do writing right now, being we're talking about writing.
Writing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Writing. Let's see. With short films, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's say 7 short films. Um, Features are 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 features. One potential television series. That's something that's in the works currently. Nothing official, but just still, it's in the works. And one potential web series.
So you're staying busy, aren't you?
Just a little bit. You
plus
have to, man.
plus
You
getting
have
more
to.
education. That's pretty awesome, I tell you.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah, because I'm pursuing my master's at the University of North Carolina School of the Arts in screenwriting specifically. So it's one way to further my network, further my craft, and find ways in which to pursue uh, this endeavor of mine. But while I'm in school, I also have a number of clients that I'm working with. So you got to stay busy.
mm. So you don't have a whole lot of time to sit and binge watch TV or movies or anything, do you?
You got to make time for that, man. You got to make time.
Well, okay. So if somebody wanted to learn how to I mean, maybe they just have an idea. What do you suggest they do? I mean, just start writing it down, right?
Um, I mean, quintessentially, yes. Uh, the, if you have an idea, the best way, in my opinion, to go about pursuing the development of it is to, uh, I would say, write a log line. If you have an idea, write a log line. First and foremost, a log line, if you're not familiar with what a log line is, it's a short 1 to 2 sentence summary of what your idea, your story, whether it be a series or a feature or a podcast, is about. Um, if you look at IMDb or when you go on Netflix and read the brief synopsis of whatever you're about to watch, then that is a log line. It is essentially the elevator pitch, or the um, in the business sector, your pitch of the product.
Hmm.
The log line states, you know, a likable yet problematic protagonist who goes on a journey of promise, turmoil, with a goal in mind, and a conflict to face along the way. Um, if you're able to summarize your idea into a 1 to 2 if you're able to summarize your big idea into a 1 to 2 sentence summary, then you will be on a good standing point of pursuing the rest of the narrative, because that log line is your anchor as a storyteller. You have this idea. You think, oh, I need to start writing it. I need to start putting words on the page. Okay, you can do that. Sure, you can fly by the seat of your pants. Absolutely. But if you do that, then you will eventually burn out. And when you just start writing, then eventually the story will start changing into something that it wasn't supposed to be originally. So when you develop a log line about a protagonist who goes on a journey to pursue a goal and faces a conflict, then it acts as an anchor for the storyteller as they're developing it. Because as they're developing it, they can look back at the log line and say, okay, that's what my story's about. Going back to the writing.
Mm.
As well, it has a whole bunch of additional assets to it, to which we'll be covering over the workshop. Um, but yeah, that's where I would start. If you have this idea, fine tune it into a single log line, and that's your starting point. Another thing, once you have a log line, then if you think, oh well, it's not as good as it could be and everything, and after you tweak it a bit, then start pitching it to people. If you say, for example, you have a log line, uh, and you're doubtful of it. Next time you're standing in line at Starbucks waiting for your coffee, tap the person on the shoulder in front of you and say, "Hey, I'm working on this story. Do you mind if I share it with you?" Or go to your significant other, pitch them your idea. Um, uh, you want someone who, after they hear your log line, will have that twinkle in their eye and say, "Tell me more." If they say, "Tell me more, what else goes on in the story," then you've got a good idea.
Mm.
However, if you pitch your log line to a stranger, and they don't really seem to be receptive of it, then that's a visual indication that maybe you need to go back to the drawing board with your idea, reframe the log line, and figure out what it is you're actually trying to say through your story. So, yeah, start with a log line.
So
That's what I
start with a
ask
log
for.
line. Okay. And
Yeah.
you said something about a workshop. Are you doing a workshop in our area anytime soon?
Yes. So I will be, nice segue. I will be hosting a workshop screenwriters workshop on June 18th. It'll be 5 hours long. Um, and what I will cover through it is, it's going to be a crash course on screenwriting. If you have an idea, okay, an intangible thing, how do you make it tangible? I will walk through the process of how and which to transform your idea into something that can be on the page. As well, I'll talk about expectations within the film industry on how to manage expectations, manage writer's block, how to pitch, so on and so forth. But ultimately, if you're someone who simply is asking the question, how do I get my idea on paper and make it into a good screenplay that has the potential to be either bought, produced, or both by a producer or a production company, then that's what we'll be going over.
Well, so there you have it. That's why Neil and we've been talking about having a workshop, and I let him just let the cat out of the bag there, because in May we have another workshop. We have the Bravo actors class and then now we have this one coming up. And I tell you, I'm excited about this particular workshop, because I've talked to people who say, I have an idea. Well, nothing's down on paper. Sometimes I tell my wife, I have an idea. She says, where's it at? I said, up here. She said, oh, we're in trouble. We're going to lose it, or we're going to write it down. She always does. So
no, that's perfect. I don't remember where I read it, but I remember reading a passage that says, ideas have the power to change the world, and yet they can be put to death by a sneeze. You have to write them down, whether they be on a napkin or on your phone, or you owe it to yourself. If you have an idea that you believe in, that causes you to stay up late at night and get up early in the morning to work on, you have to write it down. Otherwise it'll die and fade off into oblivion.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally in a total agreement with that. I've got a friend that's he had a thought one time to talk to his daughter, but and so he wrote it down on a napkin, and his daughter really loved it. So that thought went all the way through actually books being written called Napkin Note Dad. And he said, you got to write it down when talking about dads to their children, when you got a thought for them, tell them about it, but then let them see it. And that's what he did. And, Napkin Note Dads became this movement now. And it's amazing what your thoughts can do. I mean, God gave us a brain, right? And we don't use most of it anyway every day. So, but we can take a story, and we all have stories. I mean, there's stories all around us, and I love true stories or stories based on a true story or whatever, but when you really take somebody's life that has been going in one direction and you can turn it around, it goes in another direction, and you can put that on the screen, it's just amazing what that can do
Absolutely.
To the brain, to the heart, and to relationships and everything else. So, folks, we've been talking to C Neil Davenport, who is a screenwriter, and he is a very busy screenwriter, apparently. So, Neil, what are some final words you could if somebody has an idea today, they said, I can't wait, to get there to that workshop, because what should they do? The log line we talked about, anything else they should be doing towards possibly writing something one day that might show up on film?
Sure. I would say watch or I hate to say just watch, because there's so much out there now when it comes to narrative and story development that it's truly amazing. If you have an idea and you have a direction for your idea, then I would advise you to watch that one thing that you feel that it is most like. For example, if you have this idea, and the direction of your idea is to help um, uh, uh, help the homeless find a home or something, then find a film, find a movie that has the same message, and see how that film or that story inspires your idea. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Okay.
Because it gets you thinking about your idea, and it can kind of give you some thought process of the direction you might want to go or need to go because it's not going in that direction or whatever. I feel like that. I know we talked about a movie that those that sign up for the workshop will have to at least watch if they haven't watched it yet. We won't talk about that now because we want people to come to the workshop and know that particular storyline says a lot. And you would never think that when you actually see the movie when it came out. So I know that there's people going to come to our workshop and say, wow, I'm really glad I'm there. Or man, all this for the price we're charged, I mean, it's just going to give them some good direction to go in if they want to screenwrite. And I've had a lot of people who are interested in screenwriting, but be honest with you, until I met you, I didn't really know how it all came together, and that there's somebody that thought they wanted to be an actor and turned to screenwriting. And I mean, there's so many stories out there about, the careers that we go into, so, but okay. Well, I appreciate you being with us today on Clapboard Chat. And folks, you're going to be seeing more about C Neil Davenport and the Screenwriters Workshop coming up real soon. You can just stay plugged into our Facebook page. I look forward to this workshop and learning a lot from your expertise, sir.
I hope to learn from you guys as well, because that's what this is all about. It's a collaborative endeavor, and we're all here to ultimately lift each other up and help each other, figure out what to say when we're trying to say it.
Well,
Well, one last note, if I may.
Sure.
About the workshop. It's not only just a workshop in which teaches screenwriting. It's a networking event. It's an opportunity for people to who either know each other or don't know each other, come together and form connections to help each other build whatever they're building. I can't tell you how many times I've went to a film festival and shaken a few hands and met a few people, and they say, "You're a writer." And I'm like, yeah, and they'll invite me to come on board or help them with a project or something. I mean, when that was not the intention of the film festival at all. I mean, the intention of the film festival is to go watch films, but it's technically a networking event, which this workshop is as well, because everyone who will be attending, I'm assuming, is a local to Jacksonville, and the more people you know within your area who are either experts or pursuing a particular field within the film industry, it's good to know those people so that you can bring them on to your project and have them help you get your project made.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up about networking with other folks in the industry, not just that, because I didn't have it written down. So see, that was good. But yeah, and it's not just Jacksonville. It may not. I mean, we got a club in Orlando. We have a club in Tampa. We have a club in Atlanta. I mean, we got people that can come from all over to attend a networking event, because I've been involved in organizations in the past, and that's what happens. A lot of people come together just because there's a group of like-minded folks coming together at that event. So, so we hope to attract a lot more than just Jacksonville with this workshop. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you being with us. And folks, that is C Neil Davenport, a gentleman I met just by casual conversation on the set of Camp Hideout while I was getting ready for my police role. And it was just really cool to meet somebody like that. Talking about networking, I was on the set. I met Neil. I talked to him, and he's here to talk to us today about the workshop that he's going to be presenting for us on June 18th. So we're excited to have you here and look forward to that, sir. So you have any final words for us?
Yeah, just when it comes to the idea, write it down, develop a log line, and
don't miss the workshop, right?
Yeah. Hey, go to the workshop, and yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Key.
Well, that gives you a little bit of information on professional screenwriting. So we appreciate Neil for joining us today. So if you want to know more about the Professional Screenwriters Master Class on June 18th right here in Jacksonville, we have a link below that you can click on and take you right to the registration. So we will talk to you later. Thank you for joining us for Clapboard Chat.